You dialing in alternate history gaming once more with me, your humble and gracious player host, Bank 60s here. Thank you guys, new recruits, veterans of the channel, new members, and everybody. Rob GM2, I see you. That's who I'm talking about. Been a while since we've been on it. Excited to just kind of jump back into some of the how-tos. Want to work with the Grog Toolbar. If you want to have the full breadth of the NorbSoftDev unit command and control options at your disposal. One of the biggest aspects of that is, again, these controls over here on the right that you can see between TC on all subordinates and TC on all officers. Then TC off all subordinates. Being able to do that really quickly is really key, especially when it comes to moving around large formations of troops. I am going to begin with when you get past the what I would call the total war mindset, let's just say, right? Okay? What do I mean by that? So that's kind of where you start with. When you approach Scourge of War, many players, many war gamers, a lot of folks are coming over from Total War. A lot of folks are coming over from other games that kind of derive their command and control systems off of what Total War was doing. And what I mean by that is you're thinking about microing each and every regiment or unit that you have at your disposal and moving them, dragging a box around them in one big group. What I want to start with myself is to take you out of the mindset of worrying so much, at least when it comes to just the movement of the troops around the map, okay? So the very first thing that you can do is to go to yourself, right? Make sure that you TC off all subordinates, okay? And we're going to try to get the whole division on the move to a different position. We'll just right click, right? We want to go, let's say we want to go where? South, southwest. We'll scroll out down this way just a bit. And we'll just bring the division out kind of centered on this road. So I'm going to right click and I am going to drag off in that direction. Okay, because that's the way I want them facing, right? Now this display will come up. All right, and now all I like to do is just give the order. Come down here to your formations, and from there, you select a formation for the entire division, which I will select as line. Now, let's pause the game. How do I know that my orders are being followed? That is a question I think that is worth answering right off the bat, okay? So the way that I know if I'm the division commander that my orders are being followed is I will see each of my brigade commanders' arrows for where the officer is going to go in the brigade when he gets to his new position. So each flag you see here indicates that that officer has received his order to go to that place, and that is where that officer will be. That works the same for if I were to click on one of the brigade commanders under the division, come back to where he will be, and now you see only the units related to his brigade. You see that they have received the command and are carrying it out because their green arrow in the formation is there. If it were not there, then it would be somewhere else, or the unit would just be standing still, and there'd be some more that you'd need to do in order to get it back into the formation. One way that you can ensure that everybody moves is to select TC back on for everyone. TC on all subordinates. This gray button down here, TC'd off all at once. This TC's back on all at once. All of the units, so that they will not stop moving. They will continue following the order, the last order that I gave them. So let's speed it up. Then the next thing is, let's have everybody take the road. So what I will say that's already kind of in my head that we might have done differently is, instead of moving in this situation, in order for it to work a little bit better and the troops not to get so clogged up as they make their way, is to do it one brigade at a time, where you get the closest brigade to the road, on the road and going, and then you just time it right. You get the next one on the road and going, and on and on and on, and form up one brigade at a time. That might be how I would have done it had I been doing something else. But we're just going to go ahead and let it go this way. And you can see here there's a little bit of a weird thing working where these troops aren't actually on the road, but they're acting like they're on the road. So again, we'll get back to the very basics on this stuff. And you can see here we've gotten into a little bit of combat. So let's do this, right? Since we took command of everybody again, right? Let's go ahead and let's take command off of this unit, right? And let's set we know that his brigade commander is here because of this insignia, right? And let's take command off of him. And now let's put him in an all-out attack order. All right? So let's explain that really quickly, what I've done. We're up here. We've got the enemy in front of us, some artillery that's come up the road. And by the way, I've heard some gripes about how the AI sends the artillery up front, which is strange. I won't lie. So you want to make sure that you understand when the general has his orders and his AI stance will really only apply to the units that are off of take charge. See, this unit is off of take charge. It means that it is not listening to you directly anymore, per se. It's going to listen to its brigade commander more than it listens to you. It's going to listen to its own risk assessment and its own tactical assessment and its own movement assessment more than it listens to you. That's the central key part of the whole Scourge of War series, and understanding how to control the game lies in TC being on and TC being off. That is at the root of how to get everything to run more smoothly. So, these won't move because, why? They're on take charge. Simple as that. If I unpause the game and if I take them off of take charge, this one and this one, it's just as good as basically giving them back to the brigade commander for him to do with what he wants. While at the same time, now you can see the 8th Alabama and the 9th Alabama are getting on the move. All right, so this one out here, Wilcox is going to have him back up. All right, so let's say I don't love that. I don't like that. I don't think it looks good. I don't think it makes sense. I want to move them there. All right, so in a tight spot, let's say I want to make sure, even though they are off of TC, that they do what I say and they don't listen to their own initiative. I don't have to take TC back on. This is one ASD brought up during our Stones River playthrough. You can click Attack March. Boom. And what you've done right there is you have kind of de facto, for the moment, until they get here, You have taken charge of their initiative, their tactical assessments, everything. But once they arrive and they're still TC off, the brigade commander will take back control again and be in full control of exactly what it is that this regiment, the 14th Alabama, is likely to do next, right? You can't micro everything if you want to have the kind of massive, epic scale experience that you want, that we all want to have with a game like this, because it gives you the ability to do it. A corps versus a corps, and doing it all by yourself in solo play, or an army versus an army and doing it all by yourself in solo play. You have no choice but to do a blended style of play where you are not micromanaging every single unit. You are figuring out how you can best trust your AI generals. Again, what the AI is going to be after in any sandbox scenario, for the most part, going to be, as you can see, one unit moving against the flank and the main objective right here. So they're still getting in their position, but we've got Posey's brigade out here that is facing some enemy troops here. So let's say I want Posey's brigade to form partially on this stone wall and then crossing the road into this wooded area here, right? So let's take Posey, the general. We're going to keep command of him. We're going to make sure that we TC off. Now, I just double do this. I just double do it, as I call it. And I click this. I click back on the brigade commander, because that's what you got to do when you are lower than the top commanding officer. If you click TC off all subordinates, you have to click back on TC for the brigade commander, right? And we're going to take him, and we're going to go here with him. Okay, we're going to go ahead, execute that command for the brigade commander, and we're going to form a line. We're going to wheel it a little bit and then form it again. All right, you see what I did there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow these units to continue to operate on their own initiative. The other thing I'm going to do is, now that I've got the brigade line set, right? Now I can do with the brigade commander whatever I want, because I've got him under TC. His troops are going where I told them to go. They're set. They're going. Now they're going to react with their own initiative because they're TC off for everybody. I didn't put it back on TC on all subordinates, remember? So let's take him, and we'll just jog him to here, and we'll make sure he goes double quick. Boom, send that. Okay? So that was a right click and drag to send, a right click, and then a left click. Bing, bang, boom. Back to basics. There you have that. Right? The way this would probably work is you get another brigade and we shake it out with Mahone, right? TC off all regiments, TC back on the brigade commander, right click, drag right here. Okay, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to go double line with the brigade, right click that, okay, and then boom. And we'll get double line right along the wall right there. And we'll approach that enemy force over there. All right, so now let's say this is how things have shaken out. You've got 3 regiments under Wilcox pushing, right? Things are going good over here. I think we've gone plenty well far enough with these troops. I'm going to take command of him again. I'm going to TC all subordinate units. I'm going to halt them on that fence. I'm going to get creative. I'm going to take this unit. I'm going to have them get into column, and then I'm going to right click and move them here. All right, now here is a moment. Let's see if that comes up again. All right, so I like to keep this on during all of my games, is to have their waypoints where the unit is going to be going before they get to their final destination. That helps me know the very next place where the flag of the regiment is going to be is right there, and they're going to make as straight a line as they can possibly make in order to get there. And then, after they arrive here, the very next place the flag is going to turn and go is to the arrow, okay? So let's go ahead and let them go that way. But I just kind of clean that up as I go. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 10th Alabama. We're going to bring them there in the line. And so you see this? See how it's going to bring up boom, 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 boom? I don't want them doing all that as they're coming up here, right? I don't want them coming up here and going bing, bing, and then bing. I want them to just try and hit it. All right, that's as good as it's going to get. That's at least a straight line. And that's almost kind of a looks thing as well as a tactics thing for me. All right, let's have Posey come off of TC right here. And let's have him get into a defend. And now you've got a situation right here. We'll stop. Let's pause it. We'll talk a little bit about this, right? Okay. This is one that comes up. Not entirely ahistorical, right? So brigade commander has gotten word back from one of the regimental commanders or somebody that we see some Yankees up here. So everybody is going to stop, right? Fine. So we're a little stacked up. It's not totally unrealistic that a thing like this could happen. But it has happened here. We don't love it. We've got the stance order out for the entire brigade now. Everybody is going to be under the brigade commander's initiative, but we can still have an impact on the way the troops will shake out, right? We still want to try and Bob Ross it a little bit like I talk about. So we're going to take pause off. I want to make sure this unit goes here, attack march. Okay? I want to make sure this unit ends up going here. We don't want him going all these different places to get there, right? So let's reform him into column, and let's just have him go this way. Just like that. And the 12th Mississippi will have to be kind of the screening unit for now while the rest of the brigade. Here's something I do. Another thing I'll kind of do for looks. You can see where the brigade commander wants to send this regiment up in here. I'm not for that. I'll let them go in column for right now, same as these guys. But these boys are the ones I want. Attack march, force move there, right? These boys are the ones I want jumping over here on this side of the line. These boys I want to jump right here. And then you've got the 16th Mississippi, which is going to come here, which I'm really okay with. And he's changing the orders up as he goes, trying to get the boys in the best position that he can. And we see our other brigade under Mahone moving ahead on this side. Now, we're going to have a little bit of a gap open up right here. Let's take the 16th Virginia. Let's go ahead and move it across here. Let's attack march with it. So he'll move that way, and he'll kind of defend himself at the same time. Now, this unit here, see, once they got to their position, that's part of the beauty of having that attack march feature, okay? The way that I taught you before was incomplete. Before, I was telling you to take TC to make sure they kept moving to get to their destination. The reason that wasn't quite on point is because when you use the attack march feature instead and the bugle button right here, when they get there, they'll shake out into a formation that makes sense along the line. Same as these guys. So here, let's go ahead and we'll just march these guys forward to cover. Let's wheel these guys because they look stupid otherwise. First, I'm going to form them up like this, and we'll wheel them like that. And we'll have a really bloody firefight with the 12th Mississippi against the 1st Minnesota, fighting over this farm here. And then here's something that the AI will do that's a little bit dumb. Okay, they'll face a unit that way. They don't really need to be doing that. the danger is over here. So, okay, fine. That's too bad. We'll fix it. And then we'll come down here and advance to cover. There, and then we'll hit attack march. That way, they'll go. We'll even do a double time. Boom. Now they'll double time it up to that wall right there. These boys, double time it. All right. Now we're getting guys deployed nicely right there. See how this was different? So we come over here, and the 8th Alabama that we took charge of and moved over here in column like this on this side of the line was on take charge. So now they've stayed in column after they got there. They didn't shake out into a line again. It's important to know the difference. So now let's get... We're going to do a defend here. Okay, good. He's not doing anything with the 19th Mississippi over here, which is a little bit annoying because they would be very well served if they just took a few steps forward and were able to fire up here at the 1st Minnesota. So we'll have to right-click and do it. And as you can see, what they will want to do is come here first, then here. So we'll do that. And I'm going to wait until this no valid targets in weapon range. We're going to force march them, right? We're going to force move them, attack march. And then we're going to wait until this goes away. Bing. There it is. Now we're going to stop them. Now, since they are refusing to follow our direct commands, and they're going to do this, I'm going to TC them and stop. Because I want them to stop, by God. And I'm going to keep them on TC so the brigade commander doesn't do something silly with him, like send them up here in this mess to get killed. Right? Yeah, so with, let's say, we've done enough out here, right? Seems to me we need to begin flanking this Union attack. So Wilcox's brigade, I want to reform him. We're going to take off TC for everybody, take on TC for him again. We're going to move him here. We're going to get them into a double line, and then we're going to force attack move all of them. And we got ourselves the beginning of a real scrap right here. Wright's brigade here. Let's bring him all the way into the center. Bingo. Let's right-click, send it. Formation, send it. Ooh, okay, perfect opportunity. Okay. Now, you see, I did not do what? What did I not do? I did not take TC off all subordinates. So before I am able to confirm that all of my regiments' green arrows pop up where they should because of where I want to go and the formation I want to be in, I have to TC off. TC off. I got to TC him back on again. I got to go like this. I got to go assault columns. And boom. Okay, off we go. And then they'll head here in their assault columns, just like that. Right? Now this regiment, let's fall back with them. Even though I don't have them on TC, they will still follow an order that I give them until the unit or his general, who is off TC, decides to do something different. Because he's off TC, right? Say about this time, as things have kind of, the circumstances changed a little bit. This unit's moved a little bit further. I'm gonna, in the midst of their double quick, in the midst of their move, I can still change it just a little bit, just like that. Now I'll get them out in the line. Let's double time again. And we got a charge. Now, I didn't do that. Right? But it's not terrible. We may even win this melee against the 72nd Pennsylvania. We'll see. We get into some combat, and, you know, that shows you a little bit more of the basics. I think that covers just a little bit more. Again, past the micro, right? Past the idea that you got to micro literally everything. Okay. Of course, all of the questions that you have about all of this, go ahead, get in the comments on that, and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. And be as specific as you think you can be. Talk to me about the ways that the game controls don't work as well for you as you'd like for them to. And I'll do the best that I can to try to be an advocate for what will fix your situation. And I promise you, there is within this toolbar, this is something that I might spend a little bit of time kind of going on about just a little bit here, is within this Grog Toolbar, once you've kind of figured out how it all comes together, you can do almost anything that you can think of. Almost anything within the realm of authentic 19th century combat that you can think of. Get this unit in column. Take charge of this unit. Get it to move over here because that's where I want the unit to go. Forms a battle line. Right there, I'm going to go ahead and force move him there because I want him there so that we can get a stronger firing line against these guys on the flight. This unit right here, I'm a little worried about. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to wheel him, make him face and fire these Union troops over here. That helps. All right, I'm going to take him back off command so that I'm not micro him the whole time, and if something happens and he needs to retreat, he can do that. Okay, all of that is in your mind while you are doing the TC on, TC off, moving here, moving there. You're not having to actually physically micro literally everything for the whole battle. That's part of what makes this Scourge of War system, for me, the preferred system. It gives you a little bit more time, not just to sightsee, but to take in the situation that's happening, over here, come to an appropriate and accommodating and correct conclusion about what it is that you should get the troops doing, get them doing it, put them back on the AI's control, and then leave that area and come over here and deal with whatever's going on over here best you can. Like, for instance, taking TC back off of these guys, getting them out into a line, double quicking so that they will get there a little faster, wheeling so that they'll be facing the right way. Get them into their line, ready to fire toward the Irish Brigade. It'll take another second. You can see because of this flashing symbol, the volley fire option is selected by the AI to do. That's what they'll do first before they start firing at will against the enemy troops out front. And that's where, so you get into combat, that's when you start to micro things. I think that's how I would go ahead and change a little bit of the way that I describe how it is you micro in Scourge of War. When you are approaching combat, when you are marching from your starting position forward to the front line, you're microing generals for the most part. You get into combat and the battle is joined, then you're microing units along the line to take advantage of opportunities here, there, tactically with moving guns here and maybe a little part of a battery over there in this regiment, micro, and then get it there, and then get things how you want them, then give everything back to the AI generals, step away, go to another part of the line of combat, get things back in the way that you want them in that part of the line, maybe watch an attack go in here, then give everything back to the general there and hop over to another part of the battlefield that you're working on. That's how you play the larger scale corps or army sandbox or box game scenario sets for those core army battles. That's what you really have to internalize, accept, and understand is you're doing your generals on the approach to combat. When you get to combat, yeah, you're microing, but you have the ability to leave and trust your AI generals to kind of keep up the effort the way that you would want it to be for the most part after you've gone in there and actually set different things the way that you want them. And maybe you've watched one attack go in here, directed one to go in there. So there's that.